folks, because the American dream just took a hard left into a ditch. And it took Dodge, Jeep, and Ram right along with it. That's right. The big three are teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. Layoffs are looming. Factories are going silent. This isn't some Wall Street mumbo-jumbo. This is about real people, real jobs.
But we ought to be concerned about what God says. You want God to bless.
And the very soul of American manufacturing. We're talking about brands that are woven into the fabric of this country. Dodge, with its muscle cars and rebellious spirit. Jeep, the workhorse that helped win wars and conquer mountains. And Ram, the tough-as-nails trucks that built this nation. These aren't just cars, they're icons. And right now, they're hanging on by a thread. This isn't just a story about cars. It's about what happens when the things we believe in, the things we build our lives around, start to crumble. Let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Back when gas was cheap, hair was long, and America knew how to build a damn car. Dodge, founded in 1900, was all about power and performance. The roar of a Hemi engine, pure American muscle. Then there's Jeep. Born on the battlefields of World War II, these rugged machines became synonymous with freedom and adventure. From the beaches of Normandy to the Rubicon Trail, Jeep has always been about pushing boundaries. And who could forget Ram? These trucks are the backbone of this country, hauling everything from construction materials to family camping gear. They're a testament to American grit and determination. These brands represent generations of craftsmanship, innovation, and good old-fashioned hard work. They're part of our history, our culture, our DNA. So how the hell did we get here? How did these titans of industry end up on the ropes? Here's where things get messy. Remember Fiat Chrysler, that Frankensteinian merger that was supposed to breathe new life into these iconic brands? Well, it turns out you can't just slap together a bunch of car companies like a kid playing with Legos. Stellantis, the corporate behemoth that now owns Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, is bleeding money. Profits are down, debts are piling up, and the stock price? Let's just say it's seen better days. Layoffs are already underway. Thousands of workers are losing their jobs. Factories are being shuttered. The mood in these towns, once fueled by the roar of engines and the clang of machinery, is grim. Stellantis blames the usual suspects: the economy, supply chain issues, the rising cost of materials. But there's more to this story than they're letting on. Let's talk about supply chains, shall we? That intricate web of factories, ships, and trucks that keep the global economy humming, or at least it used to. The pandemic threw a wrench into the works, and things haven't been the same since. Suddenly, those microchips that power everything from our smartphones to our cars were in short supply. Factories ground to a halt, shipping costs skyrocketed, and the auto industry, which relies on a finely tuned global supply chain, was hit particularly hard. Stellantis is no exception. They've had to delay production, cut back on features, and even raise prices. But the problems run deeper than just a few missing microchips. The truth is, the global supply chain was already showing signs of strain before the pandemic. Now it's on the verge of a full-blown meltdown, and that's bad news for anyone who makes, sells, or drives a car. Section 5. The price of steel and silicon inflation bites back. Remember inflation, that economic bogeyman that everyone's been whispering about? Well, it's here and it's hungry. The cost of everything from groceries to gasoline is going through the roof. And the auto industry is feeling the heat. Steel, aluminum, copper, lithium, the raw materials that go into making a car have all skyrocketed in price. And those fancy computer chips we talked about? They're not getting any cheaper either. Stellantis, like every other automaker, is caught in a bind. They can either eat the rising costs and watch their profits dwindle, or they can pass those costs on to consumers. And guess what? They're choosing the latter. But here's the catch. People are already feeling the pinch. Wages are stagnant and inflation is eating away at their purchasing power. So while Stellantis is busy raising prices, consumers are tightening their belts. It's a recipe for disaster. Section 6, the electric slide, a shift too far, too fast. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, electric vehicles. The auto industry is undergoing a seismic shift, a technological revolution that's transforming the way we think about transportation. And Stellantis, frankly, is lagging behind. They've been slow to embrace electric vehicles, and their current offerings are, to put it mildly, underwhelming. Meanwhile, Tesla is out there building rockets and selling electric cars like hotcakes. The transition to electric vehicles is going to be expensive, and Stellantis is already struggling to stay afloat. They've poured billions into developing electric platforms and battery technology, but they're playing catch-up. And here's the kicker: electric vehicles are inherently less complex to manufacture than their gasoline-powered counterparts. That means fewer parts, fewer workers, and potentially fewer jobs in the long run. Section 7. Dealerships on edge. Uncertainty grips the front lines. The crisis at Stellantis isn't just playing out in corporate boardrooms and on factory floors, it's also hitting close to home, in towns and cities across America, where car dealerships are feeling the squeeze. These dealerships are the lifeblood of many communities, providing jobs, tax revenue, and a sense of stability. But with Stellantis struggling, dealerships are facing an uncertain future. Inventories are dwindling as production cuts and supply chain disruptions make it harder to get new vehicles on lots. Customers are growing frustrated, tired of waiting months for a new car or truck, and salespeople are feeling the pressure, caught between a struggling automaker and increasingly anxious buyers. The ripple effects of Stellantis' woes are being felt far and wide, and for many dealerships, the future looks bleak. Section 8. Will Washington ride to the rescue? The politics of bailouts. So, what's the solution? Can Stellantis be saved? Some are calling for a government bailout, a cash injection to tide the company over and protect those precious manufacturing jobs. But let's be real, folks. The last time the auto industry got a bailout, it left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And in today's political climate, a bailout for a struggling automaker would be a tough sell. Still, the stakes are high. The collapse of Stellantis would send shockwaves through the American economy, costing tens of thousands of jobs and dealing a blow to national pride. The question is, are those concerns enough to overcome political gridlock and public skepticism? Section 9. Can these titans be tamed? A glimpse into the future. The future of Dodge, Jeep, and Ram hangs in the balance. It's a make-or-break moment for these iconic brands and for the American auto industry as a whole. Stellantis needs to make some tough choices, and fast. They need to streamline their operations, cut costs, and get serious about electric vehicles. They need to reconnect with consumers, reminding them why these brands matter. But it's not just up to Stellantis. The government needs to step up and create policies that support American manufacturing, from investing in infrastructure to fostering innovation. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the stakes are higher than ever. Section 10. The end of an era, American manufacturing at a crossroads. The crisis at Stellantis is a microcosm of the challenges facing American manufacturing as a whole. Globalization, automation, and the shift to a digital economy have upended traditional industries, leaving many workers behind. The decline of American manufacturing has been a slow, agonizing process marked by factory closures, job losses, and a sense of lost opportunity. And the potential collapse of Stellantis would be a devastating blow, a symbol of a bygone era. The question is, can America reinvent itself once again? Can we forge a new path forward, one that embraces innovation, invests in its workforce, and reclaims its position as a global leader? Section 11. A time for reflection. What happens when legends fade? The potential demise of Dodge, Jeep, and Ram is a stark reminder that nothing lasts forever. Even the most iconic brands, the ones that seem woven into the fabric of our lives, can falter and fade. It's a time for reflection, a moment to consider what these brands represent, not just in terms of cars and trucks, but in terms of American ingenuity, resilience, and the pursuit of the open road. As we stand at this crossroads, we must ask ourselves, what happens when legends fade? What stories will we tell about the rise and fall of American manufacturing, and what will we build in its place?